Hello everybody, welcome to our lovely brand new Digital Craftorium. So this is the brand new one. It's our card compendium number 3, and this is a little bit of inspiration and tuition for this new one. It is just fabulous. It's crammed full of inspiration and ideas, and that starting off point for you to be able to have a go. So if you've just bought a ScanNCut, this is going to be a fabulous starting point for you all to dip your toe in and have a go at resizing, welding, rotating. So if you've got this, you're onto a fabulous journey. So I'm pop that to one side. I'm just going to show you a couple of the samples that I have, and then we're going to do a little demo. And also I'll run through how to align the actual reflections and scan it into cut, okay? So these are just adorable. Now this is just a few of the things that you can be making. We have got 10 sheets of the reflections or embellishments. I'm going to call them embellishments because the sheets are packed full. There's not just a couple of pieces on here. We've filled these sheets to the maximum. So you've got all these beautiful embellishments. Then if I turn that over, you can see we've got items that have been welded together to create card shapes. So not only have you got the card shapes that are on the USB, there's so much more because you've got the ScanNCut. And then in the background, you can see here, we've got one of the intricate patterns because you've got 30 on here that's been cut out and created to make a backing paper. So they don't have to be stencils. They can be a card, simple card, all on its own. So again, just beautiful. So that's one of them. Then taking it a little step further, making something a little bit different. So I've used one of the card shapes that are on the USB, and this is a DL. So the DL is wonderful because you don't get very many die sets that are just DL shapes that fit in a perfect DL envelope. So you've got your mats and layers. I've then used one of those intricate patterns and used it as a stencil and stenciled in the background. And then two of the patterns have got florals and foliage. So I just cut the patterns, so I've actually got more embellishments. And then the dropout of the stencil, I've used the hearts as my stopper. So again, there's so many ways of using this. So here I've made the card blank, one of the card shapes, the back, and then I've created frames with the same shape. Used my acetate. In the background here, you can see one of the lovely patterns, and then another card shape to create a window and a frame, and then all that lovely decoupage and printed elements. So there's so much that this USB is going to give you. So let's do the alignment. So when you've got your ScanNCut, you've got your mats. Now, when we align our printable elements on the USB, there's two sections that are printable elements. One are your backing papers and the other is your reflection. So when you print out your reflections, when you see it, there's this black box around the edge. Now this is where our lovely Mel had one of those light bulb moments because we were wanting to put multiple cuts on it, and then it's like, got to take each file and put it in here. There's got to be a way that we can do this quicker. So Mel came up with putting a box around everything. So it is really important. So that's not there for any, decoration. It's there for a purpose. Then across the bottom, I think something that we do really well is that we give you what is actually on the printout. But also, if you printed some of these out and then went back to your machine in 3 months' time, and there was nothing on here, you'd think, well, what USB was that for? Where did what collection is it? What was it? You wouldn't know what you were working with, so you'd go through all your USBs. So we label everything for you, which makes it far easier, not only to find out what it is that you're working with, but to navigate your USB. So when we put this on our mat, I align it in that black frame to the top left-hand corner. And I'm just going to burnish that down so it's stuck nicely in place, like so. And then we're going to go to the machine. So I have did have, there we go, my stylus. So I'm going to wake the machine up. And then we need to go to retrieve data. So we need to retrieve data, and where we're retrieving our data from is the USB. So when we open up the USB, we break everything down so it's really easy to navigate and you know exactly what are in those folders. So we've got our card shape. The card stock is one of those where it is a printed element. So you would pop the USB in your printer or your laptop or your PC or your laptop to print off. The images are another one of those where you would plug it in to print off your reflections, which is what we've got on the mat. And then our patterns down here, these are the ones that are the SVG files. So here the SVG, that is just a print, and here we've got print and SVG. So let's load our mat and then we'll navigate, press load mat, then we'll have a little look and actually bring up what we're looking for. And again, because it's printed on that sheet, it's going to be so easy for us to find it. So it's all in alphabetical order as well. So I'm going to go into images because that's what we're working with. And it says, Spring Has Sprung, which is the USB, loved up. So that's exactly the one we need to find. And there we have it. That's what we need. So press OK. And it's loaded onto the mat. Now we need to group this together so we haven't got individual elements. So we go into Edit, we select those three boxes, and then we've got options here of part of the mat or all of the mat. So let's select everything on the mat, press OK, back into Object Edit. So when we go into Object Edit, this is the screen where we can do all of those changes, and we're now going to group, okay? So now we've got all of those SVG files moving as one piece, which makes it super easy. Press OK again. We're going to go all the way through to that last screen to press scan. Absolutely, we want you to scan. So that's going to scan in. And what it's doing now is taking a little picture of what is actually on the mat. And then what we're going to do is align the red SVG file on the screen with the black SVG box that's on the mat. So here we can't really see, so we need to zoom in. So again, a super function on the ScanNCut allows us to zoom in. So I'm going to go into Edit, and here we have a magnifying glass. So if I click on that, the first time you tap on that, it's 200%, which is pretty good. So let's nudge that down with the stylus. I'm about there. I'm quite happy. But if we press it again, that is now 400%, which is just phenomenal. Now the keys here, these little directional arrows are nudging. So these are going to nudge a little bit at a time, small increments, so we can absolutely get that box lined up on top of one another. Really happy with that. I know that I've got where I need to be. Now the other ones, these arrows here, navigate around the screen. Okay, I'm just going to drop that down one more. So let's have a look around. So now we can see all of those SVG files are where they actually need to be lined up. I'm happy. So we press OK, OK again, and we go all the way through now to where we can select what we're going to do, whether it be draw or cut. So press select, and we want to cut. So let's press cut. When you're on the SDX, here it tells us lots of information before we press start. It tells us 4 minutes, okay? So that's the cut time. It tells me we're on auto, what the speed is, half cut is. You can test here or you can go in your toolbox. At the moment, we're just going to press start. But looking at that 4 minutes, when the machine says 4 minutes, if it was 3 minutes and 1 second, it would still round it up to 4 minutes, okay? It's just a guideline on time. So I'll press start. And off it'll go. It'll start cutting, okay? The little noise that it makes is that's the auto blade. So it's measuring the depth of what it's actually cutting. Okay, I'm just going to make sure that that is stuck down because I don't know if my mat's quite sticky enough. So a couple of things also that I want to show you are these lovely pattern mats. So we've got bubbles. Now, Again, because we've got the ScanNCut, we can resize. So this is the size it actually comes on to the mat, onto the screen, which is 8 by 8. But then I wanted something a little bit smaller. So then I went with a smaller pattern, which is this one. Now, the only thing you've got to remember with the ScanNCut when you're making patterns smaller is here with these small bubbles, the blade needs a 3mm turning circle. So when the blade goes into the product that it's cut in, it needs to be able to go down, rotate all the way around and come back and meet itself. And that has got to be 3mm. Anything less than 3mm and it doesn't really give you a cut. So that's the parameters that you've got with the machine. So if you were to cut some of these and make it smaller, maybe you would just get like a little slit where the blade's gone in, or a dot, because it won't actually cut it. Okay, so just be aware of that. So resizing, brilliant. And then, like I showed you with one of the samples, this is the one that I cut out that I got those florals from. So this is actually a stencil, but when you actually use these, let me just quickly show you. They are just brilliant. I love these. So whether you cut them out of mylar or cardstock, it doesn't really matter, because you can still use all of your mixed medias. So you can use your pastes and things like that through these, okay? But aren't they phenomenal? It's just wonderful. It works. So that is what you actually get. So the cutout that you see here, the actual stencil are the circles, okay? So pop them to one side. It's just phenomenal. It just keeps giving. So now think of cutting that out of maybe a vinyl, a sticky vinyl, and then laying it onto a cylindrical vase and using our incredible Cadence etching paste. Put the etching paste on, then after 2 minutes, so it only needs 2 minutes to work, peel off your vinyl and wash the vase, and that will have etched perfect circles onto that vase or any of the other patterns. And the patterns are actually follow on. So if you line up the edge to edge, it will actually, it's a repeat both sides, okay? So let's do our little demo. In fact, that stopped cutting. That was quite good, wasn't it? So press OK, unload mat. And this is the bit that it's like, oh, how easy is this? So it's cut all of those elements. You do get a bleed line. So you just out a little tiny bit with your alignment. Don't worry. But look how fantastic it's cut all of these images. And it's not that it's a die. We've cut that one out and then we've had to load this one onto our mat, and we've cut that one out. Then we've loaded the lollipop on, or the little mice. It's cut everything out and it's beautiful, beautiful detail. So I'm going to pop that to one side and we'll do a little bit of building. I have one of the most adorable cards. I love this. It really is a super collection. So what as we've done here is we've taken those hearts, because each element, each card shape has got 2 matte layers. So we've taken the different pieces and welded them together, okay? So there's so much education. Mel is fabulous with the education on our YouTube. So go to our YouTube channel and you'll be able to find all the education about welding elements together. So let me take out all these little bits and pieces, like so. And we'll pop this together. So take the backing off of these. And once you've done all the work, when you've got a ScanNCut, one of the fabulous things is that you only do the work once, okay? So if you create a card blank and you rotate and group and weld and all the rest, once you've done all of that, you can then save it, okay? Whether that be saving it onto a USB or you actually save it into the machine's memory, either way, it's fabulous that then you've got it. So once you've done it, you've got it, and then all you need to do is, if you want to change it, is resize it. It couldn't be any easier. So I've taken those off there. And the patterns that you can see, these are the printouts. This is what you're going to get on your printout. So you get two different, excuse me if my head's in the way, just needed to lean forward. So you get two different printouts. You get the actual pattern that you can see there, and you get a ditzy pattern as well. So now let's build this together. So I've cut two of these and one is scored. This creates our card blank. And it doesn't matter how many times you unblock your glue, as soon as you press record, it blocks up again. So a little bit of glue on that. So we've got a 10th fold card like so. Okay. Our mats and layers on there like so. And then we have our hearts. On 1 and 2, and then on some of my little embellishments we've glittered, so it doesn't take away any of your creativity. You can use your glosses, your glitter, all of your Cadence products to stencil through the stencils and create backgrounds, your inks, your spritzers, so you could spritz through all of this and take it away and create a background. And then we have these are just so adorable. So let me take some of these off. Aren't they super cute? Now on here you're going to find it's very eclectic. There's a lot on here. There's some more masculine designs. I mean, the one that I'm using now, it could be a Valentine, but it could just be just because. It could be an anniversary card, or it could be an engagement card. It's entirely up to you. So it's not just Easter, it's not just for spring, it's actually all year round. And if you're one of the lucky ones that has My Craft Studio, you can change all of this. So you can change the colourways. They don't have to be the red candy canes. You can turn this more Christmas if you wanted to. So let's pop in, start building our lovely pieces. So we've got our little teapot. Look how cute he is. This on here. We've got our little strawberries. He's running in with the strawberries. We've got a lovely little rabbit. And then, like I say, look, we've even got glossy accents. So it doesn't take away any of your creativity at all. If anything, it's going to add up to that creativity that you're doing. So there are lovely embellishments on there. We've got our card blank. Isn't that just adorable? So fabulous. So that's a lovely little make, and that is only one of them. So just imagine making that in that size and then scaling it up and making it again, or even scaling it down and doing a little teeny weeny one. So you could do something like this so it fits in your envelopes, maybe it's an 8x8 or whatever, and then do a little gift tag. So a smaller version of the hearts, and maybe just put the embellishment of the lollipop on there. So your gift tags and everything then match, okay? So thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that little bit of inspiration, and we'll see you all again soon. Bye.
If you want to see more from Highlight Crafts, make sure you click the like button. Subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below, and click the bell icon to receive notifications of all our future content. You can also click here to see our latest video, or click here to see more videos like this one.